What's up, guys? It's Mason. God, wrong intro. It's BadgerStorm 4345, and
Alright, so I've recently climbed to Platinum, and I'd like to give some tips and pointers and do's and don'ts for when it comes to climbing from Silver. This even can apply to Bronze, all the way up to Platinum. Now, at the beginning of the season, Season 5 of course, I was placed High Silver, which wasn't my previous rank. My previous rank was Mid Gold. So I quickly climbed out of Silver in about a day, and then I got to 2,100 in about a week. And after that, it was genuinely easy to get to 2,300. So I slowly climbed back up, and I made a lot of mistakes down the road of getting to Platinum from 2,300 and up. And I'm here to tell you what not to do and what to do instead. The first category we're talking about is queuing. Queuing is probably the most important thing to learn, and learning who on your friends list you should be queuing with. That's probably the biggest aspect of competitive, and for me the most difficult. I have some friends who aren't that good at competitive, and I have some people who are good at competitive, but they're rude or annoying or just leave a lot of games and toxic. The number of people you queue with too is extremely important in just the aspect of who am I going to get connected against, because you could get connected to an entire clan if you have a 6-stack, and you really don't want that, which is why LFGs on Overwatch really don't work, because people just don't know each other well, and you feel forced to play a hero that you don't know, and that's why LFGs, I'd say, don't try them. Now, personally, some LFGs helped me to get out of Silver for last season, which really, it didn't really work that well. We won games, but we were kind of toxic and tilted afterwards, and it just wasn't really, I don't know if it was all worth the SR, so it was a pretty bad experience, but I did get to climb out of Silver because of that. So, queuing, solo queuing, is probably the main part of losing streaks. If you lose 2 solo queue games in a row, I would really just stop. I wouldn't recommend to do any more. I wouldn't even play with your friends afterwards. If you had a 3-stack or something, which for me, 3-stacks are the best. I just would stop playing competitive. I'd get off whatever console or PC or whatever you're playing on. I'd get off and take a break and just do something else for a while. So, the thing is, solo queuing gets easier and easier as you go up in the ranks, but in Gold and Platinum, and in Silver too, obviously, and easily in Bronze too, it's always just a gamble. It's a gamble, almost 50-50, and that's why queuing with 6-stacks is, it's very, I don't know how to put this. You could be connected against, an entire clan, but at least you won't have people on your team that can mess you up. You won't have throwers, you won't have levers. You won't have those kind of people. You won't have toxic people. So, basically, the queue number, the magic number for me, is queuing with 2 other friends. So that would be 3 people. Then, most likely, the enemy team will get connected to 3 other friends, and then you would go into game chats and try to communicate with the rest of your 3 people. And this only works if your friends are the same rank as you, or slightly off. 100 100 SR. Like, there has to be a 100 SR difference between most of you for this to mostly work, unless you're ahead of your rank, which I played with my friend who was about 150 SR ahead of me, because I was going on a lot of losing streaks, because I was solo queuing a lot and losing in those solo queue matches, and I just really wouldn't recommend, like, all this. Yeah, just 3-stack is the best if you're all close together in SR. So here, I have to warn you, do not play with somebody who you know is toxic and you know will leave games and you know will just mess up your SR. Never play with them, even if it's in a 6-stack or something. A 6-stack is not worth playing with a toxic leaver. It's never worth it. So I beg you not to do that. I'm seriously trying to convince you, never play with somebody that you've gone on huge losing streaks with, and they've been toxic, and like, I don't know, just don't play with them.
I'm so angry! I'm very angry! No! I'm angry! I'm very angry!
Next, I'd like to talk about hero selection, heroes, and being flexible. So I'd say the best hero for me in competitive is by far Genji. He's the hero I carry with. I carry a lot of games with him. People tell me not to go him sometimes, but sometimes I proceed to carry. I've carried a lot of 6-stacks. Not necessarily carried, because my friends are also good, but I've been supported enough when I go in 6-stacks and when I play Genji that we almost always win. Like, my win rate is like 60% or something. It's something crazy like that. So what I would recommend is play a hero you're good at and that you can carry with. Not all the time, but when you're looking to 100% like carry, and when you think your team is gonna let you down. Never, and I mean never, auto-lock DPS. This is not what I'm saying. I think if your team, most of them auto-lock DPS, and then if you switch, like, that's not time for you to auto-lock DPS. It's time for you to go healer or tank. Be flexible. I know not a lot of people are good with every hero, but if you're flexible and you learn those heroes, your competitive experience will be much better. So I'd urge you to learn people like Mercy, Anna, Reinhardt, even like Orisa or Zarya to some degree, and Winston because the new Rising Dive comp meta, and all of those tanks and healers that are extremely good right now, and you just should learn. You should learn these people, and if you're not good with them, well then you probably shouldn't be doing competitive if you're not willing to fill. So I don't know what to tell you there on that aspect. So my babies, that brings us to the question, should you constantly auto-lock healer and tank? No, don't do this either. Do whatever your team needs. Like, play DPS if you want to play DPS. But if the rest of your team is playing DPS, I'm not gonna play DPS. I would go tank or healer or something that we need in order to win. Fill the role that you need. I like playing a lot of Pharah too, and if they have a soldier, I'm not just gonna let him kick me in the vagina. I'm gonna actually switch and go something that counters soldier, and go something that I know how to counter soldier with, and tank Genji. But like, I'm be flexible. Switch if their team is countering you, and try to counter their team comp. And if you have a 3-stack, which is my recommended, thing, like queuing number that I told you, I'd try to tell them to try to counter the enemy team comp. And if nothing works to counter them, then you can sometimes just take a loss. Like, it's not the end of the world if you lose. It was for me when I went on that losing streak yesterday, but, you know. So I have one more thing to talk about, one more topic, one more subject that I'd really urge on all of you. I already somewhat talked about this, but the next topic is...
Hey guys, Humongous here. Hey guys, it's BadgerStorm, this...
Don't play all the time. Never, never, never play like 10 games in a row, even if you think you're gonna win all of them. Like, if you're planning just to play 10 games in a row, if you only play, like, marathon, like, you shouldn't play this game, because you're not going to be mentally prepared for all of these games, and it's just gonna get to your head if you start tilting from one loss even, and, like, I don't really know why anyone would do that, but that's what I have to urge on you. Never play over, let's say, 6 games, especially when you've lost more than 2 already. Like, I just, let's say you lose the first 2 games, I would just stop there. I wouldn't go on. If you lose just the first game, you can go on if you want, but if you're tilted and toxic and triggered, and I hate that word, but, you know, meme. Triggered memes, yeah. Everybody loves those. Like, Leafy's. I'm getting off topic, but, yeah, I just wouldn't, I would really stress this upon you guys, to not play so many games in a row. Like, if you know that you can play 10 games in a row without getting toxic, and if you can do that to yourself, I don't know what to tell you, but, like, go for it if you feel like it, but I really just would play about 2 games in a row, is what I did most of the time, 2 to 3 games in a row, depending on how good we do, and that's what I have to do. That's what I had to do to get to platinum. So all the way from silver to platinum in 1 season, in less than a month, that's what I did. So I would really stress this stuff upon you guys. Take every one of these tips with you, and just, I don't know, just, yeah. That's it, guys. Bye. You molesters. You luxurious molesters. That's the word I was thinking of. Yeah. Remember that. Remember. XD.